Let me just pin this one sec.
Just pinning it. One second.
Just pin in a comment. Alright, we good?
We good. We live.
Alright, we live. Hello. Alright, hey guys. So today we're going to do chicken burrito bowls. So shredded chicken burrito bowls. And I already have the chicken going in the crock pot, but I'll tell you guys what it is. So I did 2.5 pounds of chicken breast, boneless, skinless. And then I did 2 cups of chicken broth. And then 6 tablespoons of taco seasoning. So that's going to take about like 6 to 7 hours on low. And then after, you're just going to take 2 forks and you're just going to shred it apart. So that's the chicken, very simple. And then I have the jasmine rice, which is already done. And then I also have black beans and corn that I'm going to drain and wash in the sink. And then grape tomatoes, lettuce mixture, and avocado. So very simple one. So I'm going to start by just cracking these open. And then putting them...
Cracking them open?
Just cracking them open. Putting them in a colander and just rinsing them.
It's impressive. How do you open those cans with your hands?
You ready?
Oh my! You know, I don't understand why all cans aren't pop tops now.
Right?
Like
what's
true.
so this one isn't?
Oh.
What's the difference?
It's just on their
It's
part, it's more
manufacturing.
expensive, probably.
Yeah,
to
well,
make it.
definitely, because it's more pieces.
Also, if you rinse your veggies, they are significant. They do have significant amount less salt in them, but
And starch, right? Does it get... No, that's pasta.
yeah,
That's pasta. Oh my god, I didn't bring something in.
So, ideally, your canned vegetables should be no added salt, which is difficult to find. You'd have to spend a good amount of time, but it is good to wash them
Yeah,
off.
a little bit.
Always.
Get rid of
Which
some
is
of that
actually
excess.
something that I just figured out, or just realized, I guess, that it's so significant that you can get a lot of salt off them, I guess.
Yeah, when you rinse
which
it.
I didn't really know.
That's
but,
good.
I mean,
They just put the salt in as like a preservative, you know, make it last longer in the can.
yeah, and of course it absorbs some, so it's better with the no added salt, but still,
Yeah.
it's good.
Black beans, so I'm doing black beans too, and that's also a great source of protein for a bean, because it's 8 grams of protein
Yeah.
per half cup.
Nice.
So that's pretty good.
Good
Do you like-
fiber.
Like black beans?
She just likes free food.
Like I like any food. So I put the corn and the beans in the same cylinder, and I'm just gonna rinse them because they're gonna just be combined anyways.
Is it cylinder or colander?
Colander.
That's what I meant. My head is elsewhere today.
That's alright. It's Sunday. Everybody's allowed to be a little bit off on Sunday.
Exactly. Sunday, Sunday.
Especially if you work Monday through Friday.
Yep.
But some people work Sundays, so they have no sympathy for you.
Yep. That is true. That is true. Alright. And the colander.
There we go.
I'm gonna so I'm gonna let those drain a little bit of the water. And then eventually I'll put them in a bowl and then mix them up better.
So for anybody who missed it, we are cooking the chicken today in a crock pot or a slow cooker. So this is a meal or a recipe that you'll definitely probably want. Maybe get your chicken going the night before or
Yeah.
set it up for the morning of. 6 to 7 hours before you plan on doing your meal prep. Otherwise, you may not have your chicken ready for when you're ready.
Exactly. So that's why I did it. I did it early this morning, like right when I got up. So took me about 3 minutes. Very easy. And then I'm not going to cut the avocado now, but I'll explain how I prepare it. So with the avocado, you just slice it down in half, and then the way to store it is I keep the pit in, and then I put it in a plastic bag and I put it in the fridge, and then I use that second half the following day. So that's the way I store it. Very simple.
Yeah, avocados can be tough. but
Yeah, avocados
they're
can definitely be
doable.
tough. Yep. So for the sides that will not go in the microwave with the rice and chicken, I'm gonna put it in a separate container, and it's kind of like a salad. So
Okay.
yeah, here is cutting board. Cutting board. So yeah, I'm gonna do some grape tomatoes in the lettuce mixture, and then I'll cut the avocados on the day of. Where is the knife?
Now, I actually may have missed this if you just covered this, but a really neat trick for preventing avocados from going bad too quickly after you've cut them. If you leave the pit in the half that you did just say that, yeah. So here we go. We're on the merry-go-round. We've now reached back to the point where I was not paying attention.
Yes. So leaving the pit in is good. The pit of the one that is being stored.
I remember growing up, my mother used to jam toothpicks through avocado pits. And then she'd put them over a cup of water. And I always used to be, well, why are you doing that? So I have another avocado.
Wait a minute. Oh. That works?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You can grow your own kitchen avocado.
Oh, God.
Done. I think.
How long does it take?
With pineapples, you can do the same thing, but it's with the top.
How long does it take? That's a great question. Huh. Let's get a little trivia on that.
So I actually left the lettuce outside. So I'm gonna go get that.
Oh, you mean
not outside, but in the outside
fridge.
to
get it?
Oh, jeez.
I'll grab it. It's right there.
All right. Well, hey, so let's try and avoid any dead space or dead air. What can I do that's entertaining? All right, just get on right over here. Oh, so this is what it looks like to be on this side of the camera.
The other side.
This is pretty cool. Oh, she's back so quick. Look at that. I didn't even have any time to be obnoxious.
Okay, so I just got this spring mix.
2 to 6 weeks apparently it takes for the pit to sprout of an avocado.
2 to 6 weeks?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be like
well, it's like a thick pit.
We've got a question from Bella on the Instagram. She's curious, do you ever purchase a rotisserie chicken to shred at home instead of cooking it yourself?
So I have done that for dinners before, but because meal prep, I make sure I designate that time. I don't really need to do something too quick.
Yeah.
But yes, I have done that before.
To kind of build off that, if you don't have time to wait the 6 to 7 hours for the slow cooker, you absolutely can buy a rotisserie chicken already cooked, shred it up yourself. I've definitely done that before for dinners myself too. It's quick, it's simple. It'll cost you a little bit more than going through the whole process yourself, but
definitely if you don't have the time, it's a great option.
A wonderful
and it
time
tastes
saver.
so good. I love rotisserie chicken.
Yes.
So bomb. Okay. All right, so let me get the corn and beans. All right, so these have been rinsed and the water has been draining.
Oh, and now there's another doggo looking for free food.
Next.
Always the dogs.
Of course, Bella. That's what we're here for. Thank you for asking the question. We love when people interact with us.
Yes, questions are nice. Because I can't talk the entire time.
I'd run out of information.
Yes.
Well, Dan can repeat it for you, so.
Oh.
Burn.
Ouch.
Also, for those of you who are on Instagram watching us, I know you're just hearing the disembodied voices of Dan and Victoria in the background, but if you head over to our website, you can follow any of the links to our Twitch or our YouTube channel, where we've got a much better overlay. We've got a couple different cameras pointed down. You can see my head up in the top right corner, watching everything. There's a camera we've got pointed down over the cooking area, so you get a better view of what Danielle's doing, how she's working. Then, of course, we have the straight-on camera, which you already get with Instagram.
Yeah.
And I will post that link right now again for the better view on the Instagram.
Hi, Danielle. Love following you and your progress. Hope your shoulder feels better.
Aww.
From I apologize if I butcher this.
Wait, let me see.
Torian Gelface.
Oh, that's good. Tori Angel
Thank you.
Face.
I appreciate
Tori
that.
Angel Face. Okay, that makes so much more sense. Tori
Yes.
Angel Face.
So I will know on the 18th what the deal is with my shoulder, if you're curious.
Bit, huh? Okay.
18th,
I know.
we'll have a reveal party. What's going on?
What's going on with Danielle's shoulder? Well, we know what happened to my shoulder, but if I need surgery or not, that's the deal. But you know what? I met my health deductible, so
There you go.
I might just get it. As I'm waving a knife around. Okay, so that's honestly pretty much it. So, all right, let me show you how I store the rest of it, though. So let me grab one of those containers.
Yeah, because you probably don't want to put the cold ingredients with the hot ones, right?
Exactly. Alright, so 1 container has the tomatoes and the lettuce, so that's going to be the one that I do not heat. And then this one I will heat. So this is the corn and black beans. And then I also put the avocado in the not heat as well. Alright.
Definitely want to make sure we specify that. You don't want to warm up the salad.
Yeah, so don't warm up this, warm up
Well,
this.
I guess, you know what, I shouldn't say that. If you like
Yeah.
heated up salad, go for it.
You do you, boo.
Not my cup of tea.
You do you.
Yeah, you do you. I love that.
You do you. You do you. Okay. So then we have the jasmine rice, my fave. Okay. Ugh. So particular. Okay.
Can't be touching.
So annoying.
Oh god.
I'm so annoying. Okay. So that's pretty much it. So, in the non-heat, we have lettuce, tomato, and then tomorrow morning I will cut the avocado and put it in this one. Later today I will shred the chicken and then I will put it in this portion and this will be the heat.
Can we
And
see
then,
them?
yeah. Oh yeah, for my
Bring it
Instagram.
nice and
Ooh,
close.
sorry.
Look out, Rat.
So for my Instagram fam, so this is the heat and this is the keep cold. Or if you want to heat it, you do you. And then also if you guys, so I have noticed, so I've been tracking my calories again, and well, my macros more specifically, and I've realized that my meals could be a lot bigger because I've been eating a lot of snacks. So I've realized that. So what you could also do with this is either add more rice, in my case, or you can just use a tortilla, you know,
Yeah.
tortilla or a pita, and you can do that as well. So yeah, that's it for my meal prep.
Nice.
All right.
Easy peasy.
So now that we've finished with the meal prep, does anybody have any questions specifically on the meal prep before we kind of move over to having a little table talk and discussing some of the basics of meal prepping? So we'll give you guys like a minute or two. If you've got any questions on the meal prepping, go ahead, fire away now while we kind of set everything up for the discussion portion. Let's get that.
I guess I could package these two. I'll just do that if we have a little bit more time.
What do you mean?
I could package away these and
Yeah.
some of these. Do we have time? No.
Let's keep the dead
Okay.
space to a minimum.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but when you guys are ready, come on over, take a seat.
So we have a
Alright.
question again from Bella.
Okay.
How many days do you meal prep for? And we're gonna actually
Yeah.
get into that.
Yeah,
right
so
now.
we're actually about
Like,
to get
deep
into
it.
the specifics of meal prep, but I specifically prep for 5 days, and those are my lunches. Yep. All right, so I'm just gonna rotate you guys so that we're all gonna sit down and chat.
And now it's just me.
No, it's just Dan. Oh!
Oh my goodness.
Let's see, is that too
Don't
low?
hurt yourself now.
That's pretty good. Okay, guys. Let me see if I can shut this a little bit, just because it gives a crazy glare.
Oh yeah,
You know?
forgot about that.
Yeah.
We actually discussed how we were going to deal with that next time.
Exactly. Problem solved.
Should we move it back a little bit?
Sure. So many cords. Alright. Okay.
Alright, there we go.
That's an easy
There's
meal prep.
1, 2. I'm just waiting for number 3.
Okay, number 3. Do you want to do like a quick introduction?
Yeah, you know,
Very,
may
very
as well,
quick.
just in case we've
Okay.
got some new viewers watching
Yep.
today. So, hey everybody, I'm Dan, the Fit Ferret. You know, this is,
Danielle.
And I'm
Also known
Victoria.
as Living Well with Danielle.
And I'm Victoria, a registered dietitian.
and together we are the curators of Better University, a forum that is dedicated to the education and enrichment of life through fitness and wellness. So we're not just another diet program, we're not just another, ask me how you can lose 5 pounds in 1 week. No, we are about education. We want people to find the best versions of themselves through just having knowledge and understanding how your body reacts with food, how fitness can play a role in your life, and just kind of figuring out ways to, well, I hate to use this term because it's so overused, but basically hack yourself. All right, so I think kind of starting right where Bella asked off of the question, I think that's great because as Danielle said, she preps once per week for 5 days and it's all her lunches. Me on the other hand, I have 2 different days of the week that I prep on, and I prep for 3 days at a time, and I have 1 day where I kind of, I guess you could call it a cheat day. I don't really follow any special rubrics or plans. It's just, wake up, eat my bacon and eggs, and then go from there. See
now,
where the
is
day
that
takes
like,
me.
so you do the 3 days, and then that day where you're prepping for the next few days, that's your cheat?
No, so
Okay.
Sunday typically ends up running into being my my cheat day, which also is my first prep day.
Okay.
So Sundays I'll prep for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday I'll prep for Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And then Sunday. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so it ends up working out.
That's nice.
Now, unfortunately with that though, my schedule recently has changed rather drastically. So that's probably going to change, which actually brings us to another great talking point. To be successful with meal prep, fitness, with anything in life really, to be truly successful, you have to be flexible. You have to be adaptable. And I love using Bruce Lee as an example here because some of the things that he said just really resonate with me on these topics. If you're very rigid, if you're very strict and you hold yourself to this, almost like an unreal standard, you're like a board, a very rigid, stiff board. And if you watch, the more rigid a board is, the easier it is to break.
That's a good point.
But yet, if you watch the willow, which bends and moves with the wind, it's very flexible. It tends to be a much hardier and resilient type of wood. So I kind of like to look at it that way. The more flexible and adaptable you are, the stronger you are for any of life's bumps, roadblocks.
Isn't that true when you're falling? And then, or if you get in a car accident, or if you hit water hard, you want to be like loose and not tense.
Yes, you want a ragdoll.
Yeah.
Which,
Really?
Yeah.
this is a little bit of a
Like a
sad
car
segue
accident.
for that story, but ironically, that's typically why drunk drivers
Yeah.
don't injure themselves too much
Oh my
when they get
goodness.
into an accident.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because they essentially go into a ragdoll.
Yep.
That isn't to say that if you're drunk driving, no, you do not do that. That's bad, very bad, but that's just a real life example of physics and how they work.
Exactly.
Just checking real quick, see if we have any questions. Okay. So moving on from there, we kind of want to go over some of the basics of meal prepping, things that you need to be prepared for.
Yep.
Big one, have a plan. So as you can see, Danielle's got a really rock solid plan and we've built an entire show around it. Not saying you have to build a show around your plan, but just
But
that's
have a
exactly
plan.
it. So actually, could you tell us a little bit about that, like how your plan evolved, how you got from
I actually don't
when you
know
were
that.
starting
Yeah.
and where you are now?
So that was actually, God, maybe 6 years ago.
Wow.
So I was very much into obviously fitness, and I don't even know where I found the concept of meal prepping. I think it may have been on
Stumbled
Instagram or
across.
something, maybe.
Ugh.
But that's when Instagram was first starting out. So then I remember I just bought some containers and then just kind of went from there. I had no solid plan. I just did it, and then
Yeah.
I figured out what worked, what didn't work, and then I just grew upon that.
And I remember
Yeah.
being like,
Yeah.
oh, meal prep, but because it wasn't as much variety, I was like, you need more variety. And then
Exactly.
you started to do that, and it got
Yeah.
much better. You learned.
Yeah, no, but it was really just, I kind of just started blindly. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew the basis of it. And then I would get very frustrated, but I also wouldn't give up. You know, I would just continue and I would pick out what I learned from last week and just apply it to the next week and just keep going.
I think,
that's really-
didn't we do an episode last week specifically about that whole concept? Was you make mistakes, you fail, you get frustrated,
Yeah.
but you learn from those mistakes, you learn from those frustrations.
Yeah.
Then the next time you do it, it's a little bit easier.
Exactly.
So,
So then
yeah.
that's where I'm at right now. It's just like I make sure that I have that time every single Sunday. If not, Monday. But that's in a rare case if I have something on a full Sunday. So I prep on Sunday for my 5 days lunches, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I just have been doing that for so long. It's just part of who I am now, and it's just.
So again, that also segues back to what we were talking
Exactly,
about. The establishing of the routine. You know, eventually you don't have to think about it anymore. It's just one of your habits. Like as simple as tying your shoe.
Yep.
You do it every day without thinking. Just go through.
And
the
that's
motions.
not to say that it's still easy or it's easy. There are many times where I'm like, even last night I was like, I do not want to grocery shop. But I was like, it's just, I gotta do it. It's just who I am, it's what I do, it's fine.
Well, that would be like, you know, like, oh wow, you know, I should really eat today. Oh, I don't want to do that.
Exactly, it's just.
But you have to do it.
It is what it is. Exactly.
You don't pack dinner from oxymoron.
I do not pack dinner, no. I have enough time when I get home to make it or just prepare it the night before.
No, that isn't.
Leftovers or.
Yeah. No, that isn't to say that you can't, you know, plan to prep your dinners. But you know, me personally as well, I only prep my lunches. You know, either myself or my fiance, we have time at night to, you know, cook a home cooked meal. Although sometimes what we'll do is we'll actually use the cooking of dinner as a way to prep the lunch for the next day.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you just cook a little bit extra, so that way after you finish dinner, you can kind of wrap up the leftovers in one of your meal ready to go packs, and there you go, you've got your lunch tomorrow.
Yep.
So there isn't one set way to meal prep, there isn't a specific day you should do it on. The plan has to work with you. If you're able to cook dinner every single night, but you don't really have an extended period of time on like a weekend to say make 5 meals for the week, make a little bit of extra at dinner every night, and look at that, you've got your lunch every single day ready to go.
Or even just the dinner for the next day too, if you want.
Another great method if you do not like, or if you like variety, is bulk meal prepping. So making a bulk batch of chicken, a bulk batch of steak, also jasmine rice, quinoa, so that way you can, the night before,
Mix and
prepare
match.
whatever combination that you want to do.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another method, but I tried it and it didn't work for me, so.
I feel like that would be better for me. For some reason.
I mean, you figure out what works for you. I tried different methods and I found that this is the one I can stick to, and that works for me the best.
So a little quick note on bulk cooking and having a variety in general. One of the greatest tricks that I've found, if I'm baking my protein, I can kind of set up, well actually this works for the vegetables too now that I think about it.
Yeah.
When I'm setting up my baking sheet, I'll use aluminum foil to basically make sections.
Yes.
And then I can put my chicken in one, my steak in another, or like, you know, my broccoli in one, and my other veggies in a different one, and you can season them differently, so that way, you know, you don't get a bleed over or a blend of the flavors, which, although sometimes that can be pretty tasty.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just another way to cook several different varieties, all for the same type of meal prep, without, you know, having to constantly be shifting things in and out of an oven. You just kind of partition space.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you've got your plan. Now the next thing that you need to really be concerned is, do you have the right equipment? I mean, obviously if you've got a kitchen, you've got a stove, you've got an oven, you probably got the basics that you need for meal prepping and cooking, but there are tools that make our lives easier. A pot for boiling.
Crock pot.
Crock
pot.
pots. Crock pots are amazing for making one pot meals that are good for the whole week.
Grill pans.
No, I like steamers, like for the
Steamers.
vegetables. That's
Steamers
like,
are good for vegetables, yeah.
Grill pans are great if you don't have a grill.
Yes.
If it's raining or whatever, if it's cold out.
So what I kind of want to jump into next, what are like the top 3 tools that you use in the kitchen for meal prepping that you just absolutely couldn't live without?
Okay. I would say my containers.
Containers are very important.
Containers.
Yes.
I would say the fruit and veggie wash. That one is very.
You know, ever since you turned me on to that,
I know.
I can't stop using it either.
I can't eat like veggies or fruit without it now. So yeah, and then let's see the last one. Ooh, that's a tough one. Top 3. Okay. I would like to say crock pot, but no.
No, you gotta have a pot or a frying pan.
Well, yeah, I guess like a decent sized pan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'd say so.
What about you, Victoria? What are your top 3 tools in the kitchen?
Oh my gosh. Well, mine's definitely a frying pan.
Yeah.
And then I like steamers a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
You
so
gotta see
quick.
Yeah. You know they even
a
make
good knife.
microwave steamers?
Oh, good
Yeah.
knife is good. I like that one.
Yes.
A
Good
knife.
knife is invaluable, and
It is.
Especially with those hard potatoes.
making
Oh
sure
my
you've
God.
got a good sharpening stone for that knife
Yes.
as well.
What are yours?
So I'm going to expand a little bit. So a good frying pan, but not just a good frying pan, a copper-lined
Oh,
frying
boy.
pan.
Oh,
If you have
fancy.
never cooked with
I
copper-lined
have not.
cookware,
I don't know if I...
you are missing out.
Well then.
So the cool thing about this type of cookware is, in theory, you don't need any kind of lubricant like olive oil. I mean, I still cook with olive oil because I love the taste of it
Yeah.
and it adds that extra fat into the meal that I'm making, but you don't need it. It's an anti-stick surface. The other cool thing about most copper cookware is you can use abrasive utensils on it without scratching it.
Really?
Yeah, one of the
That's
things I used to run into all the time is I'd have a really nice felt-lined pan, and then sure enough somebody would take a fork to make scrambled eggs, and I'd look at it and be like, well, that pan's useless now.
Yeah.
But ever since getting copper-lined cookware, never have to deal with that again.
Keep that in
Interesting.
mind.
Yes.
Oh yeah, so it's
That's
really
to
good.
know.
I mean, I can't use knife because you already used that, but that is absolutely definitely on, up there on my list.
Yep.
Believe it or not, another thing that I really like, this isn't so much for meal prep, but I love my toaster oven. I love being able to make small
yeah.
batch, like, Ezekiel bread pizzas,
Yes.
or even when I make my my scrambled eggs, and God, I love Ezekiel
Yeah,
bread.
specifically
But-
like an oven.
A little
Not
oven.
like a-
an easy bake oven.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. You
Yeah,
can
that's
use it to
good.
toast things.
Yeah.
You can use it to bake things. I've made nachos in it before. They came out
Cool.
amazingly.
Yeah, that is a
Number
good
3.
one.
Number 3, a good coffee maker.
Oh, amen.
So
That is true.
overindulging on caffeine is not healthy for you, but a little bit of caffeine in your diet is actually healthy for you.
Actually, so in studies, I guess the risk of like cardiovascular stuff and stroke decreases if you drink 5 to 6 cups of coffee every day, but not really any less than that.
5 to 6.
That's a
Wow.
lot.
Woo!
Yeah, so there's antioxidants in it too and all that stuff, but I don't know.
So, do I want to sleep or do I want coronary disease? That's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know how strong that relationship is, but I just found that very interesting when I came across it. Yeah. If you want an excuse to drink coffee, use it.
Okay.
So,
Tough to tell me twice.
throwing out some other tools that I think are really useful in the kitchen. A good spatula,
Yes.
tongs,
Yep.
so something that you can grab and flip things with, especially if you love to grill like I do. Having a good pair of tongs is invaluable. I can't tell you how many times I used to use like a spatula for
Yeah.
whatever I was doing, and then whoop, oh, there goes the food right between the grates and the grill. Well, good thing I didn't want to eat that. What's
Also,
what's
tin
really
foil,
good?
aluminum foil. I have not had aluminum foil for just a little bit, and I went to the sports store specifically at like 8 o'clock to do it because you just can grab all this
Yeah,
stuff and
it's
throw it
simple.
out. It's so
Oh,
easy.
it is. It makes
Yeah.
cleanup
Makes
a
it quick,
breeze.
Huge.
I love making pockets out of aluminum foil
Oh, yeah.
when I'm
Yes.
grilling my vegetables.
Yes, that's
So,
good too.
you make like a boat,
Yep.
you put your vegetables in it, your oils, your seasoning, all that fun stuff. Then you wrap it over on itself, throw it right on the
You
grill.
can mix it in there too.
Yeah.
Grills
Yeah.
are great.
Grills are great.
I'm glad we're in grilling season now.
Yes. me too.
Out of curiosity, anybody out there watching today, do you have any invaluable kitchen tools that you love using that maybe we didn't mention today? Please feel free to throw that out at us, and we'll absolutely, shout out for that.
Definitely not the garlic mincer.
No, get minced garlic if you can.
No, we've covered that. The garlic press, while it's great in theory, it's just a nightmare.
It is.
It's just a
I feel
nightmare.
like you would have to need toothpicks.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
that's
having
true.
a toothpick for cleaning it
Yeah,
would make it a little
that's
bit
so
more
tedious.
The point of
agreeable,
it
I
is
think.
to be
For it to be
quicker,
simple,
but no.
All right. So one of the next things about meal prep that is really a basic, variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I say that specifically in regards to your spices. Because, if you're trying to keep it simple, a lot of your meals are going to look very similar. They're going to follow the same specific formula.
Yep.
Protein, starchy carbohydrate, vegetables, and a little bit of fat. that is the basis of a well-rounded meal. You're pretty much going to run into that no matter what you're prepping, except of course if you're prepping an unbalanced meal, which I definitely don't recommend using meal prep as a way to make unbalanced meals.
Yeah.
But digressing on that, having really awesome spices, which I'm going to turn this over to Danielle because she is the spice queen.
Oh, you
Yes.
guys can't see it, but I have a nice, a nice rack. Anyways, so I get a lot. There's a here. Let me grab.
Yeah, I was
some.
gonna say that.
Actually, let's just grab
So
them. Bring them over
Trader
here so we
Joe's
can see
actually
those.
has. So I will tell you my all-time favorite seasoning ever. Show Instagram. Everything but the bagel. This one is the best. Oh, no. Which way? This way.
Yep.
There we go. Everything but the bagel seasoning. This is so good. So I use this for eggs. You can pretty much put it on anything. You can put it on vegetables. You can put it on potatoes. You can put it on anything. It's really good. All right. So I also have another great company is Eat Clean Meal Prep. So this is what it looks like. God, the sun is awful, but I love it. So this is, I feel like one of those like beauty tutorials where they're like,
The hand model.
There we
yeah.
go.
But anyways, they
Eat
have
Clean
a
Meal Prep.
great combination of seasonings, and then they use actually they have no sodium.
Yeah,
There's
and
no
doesn't
sodium
it give
in these
you
ones.
like examples of like
Yeah.
use this for like
Yeah.
meat or use
Exactly.
this
So
for,
this is California citrus, for example, and on the back it shows you that you can use it on chicken, shrimp, or broccoli.
Which is
veggies.
great to start
Yeah.
off if you
Chicken,
don't know. Yeah.
shrimp, or broccoli.
Yeah, like chicken, seafood, and veggies. Sorry.
Okay.
So yeah. So those are, I mean, those
That's
are.
oddly specific.
I know, right? But it's like the citrus and stuff. So
Okay.
Eat Clean Meal Prep, or Eat Clean Essentials, and then Trader Joe's has great ones.
Yes.
Those are like my fave. And then minced garlic.
So
Garlic.
somebody once upon a time for Christmas got me a spice set from a company called Flavor God,
Oh, I have flavor God too.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I love grilling with those spices.
Yes,
they are
those are
really
good.
good. I don't use their cheese spice because that I don't know. That just
I didn't
yeah, it's like
know
a
that.
cheese flavored.
That
And
must be kind of new.
it's kind of bizarre and.
They have like
That
a
is
chocolate
interesting.
donut one.
Oh
What?
yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I
What
still
do you?
have it.
What on earth do you season with chocolate donut seasoning?
You could do, so I think I used it for bananas. I
Okay.
just like put it on bananas and it was
I'm
really
trying to
good.
think. What
Yeah.
else?
Yeah.
You can put it on toast with peanut butter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sprinkle them on top of
Little,
it.
little cinnamon toast.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Okay. Now I'm on board. It took me a little bit to get there, but I see the light. now.
I would say the best seasoning is cinnamon though.
You know, I
Cinnamon's
don't
good.
actually cook with cinnamon
I
as
use
much
cinnamon.
as.
I put
as
it in
I
my
should.
oats because I make my own oats, so
Okay.
Hmm,
I like me some cinnamon.
okay. So with the whole variety is the spice of life thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, spices is a good thing to have a lot of variety of,
Yep.
but making your vegetables very variable too is great for meal prep. Mostly from a health standpoint.
Yeah.
The more colorful your diet is,
Eat the rainbow.
the easier it is to make sure your body is receiving all the different micronutrients that it needs. You know, we talk a lot about macronutrients on this show, but micronutrients are ridiculously important. You know, these are the things that your body needs to do all the functions,
Everything.
day-to-day
Exactly.
life, like the little stuff.
In
You
order
know,
to
you think
utilize that.
creating tears, your body requires micronutrients for.
It's like the cement, the building blocks.
Yeah, all right, I like
Yeah.
that. That's a good one.
And also, things with lots of color have phytonutrients, which we're just starting to discover all the
Yes.
uses
Yeah.
for these too. So beyond micronutrients, we have even more. So it should be interesting to see how that plays out
Yeah.
in the science.
Be very
field,
interested
yeah.
to see where that goes. And of course, here at Better You, we'll make sure that the more we learn about it, the more you learn about it. All right, so one of the last things that we really want to talk about as far as meal prep is concerned, and this is, I would argue, the coup d'etat for anyone who is starting out, anybody who's inexperienced and trying to figure out just where to begin. Keep it simple.
Yep.
I can't
Yes.
tell you how frustrated I would get with myself in the very beginning because I tried to follow these elaborate recipes
Same.
and just, you know, oh my gosh, obsessing over my containers and everything, and just finally one day I realized protein, starch, vegetable,
The
good.
point of meal prepping is to simplify things
Exactly.
anyways,
To simplify your life.
Now, that being said, of course, as you get more experience with it, as you kind of develop your own system, your rhythm, your groove, yeah, heck yeah, branch out, try some adventurous stuff. But if you're starting out, failure can be very discouraging. It is a great teaching tool and learning tool, but it can also be very frustrating. So don't set yourself up to intentionally fail as much as possible. You know, try to get it right and keep it easy. Obviously, you are going to run into snags and roadblocks and bumps when you're even doing simple, but at least it won't be the catastrophic type of failure that makes you feel like, why did I even bother doing this?
Yes.
You know, rather than, oh, well, I guess I can just do this instead.
Yeah.
It definitely does make it easier to function through that. Do either of you guys have any fun stories from when you were starting out and not trying to keep it simple?
I mean, I remember I followed what is his name? I don't know, some guy who had very elaborate meal preps that we tried following. And one was a turkey breast that you slice in half. And then we put, I think it was like cheese and whatever. You put something in it and it came out awful.
Really?
So awful.
Just too much
stuff.
stuff.
Oh, too much, yeah. And then we just tried making like these really cool recipes and it just never worked out. And then we're like, all right, let's just keep it simple. And that's pretty much how it's
The more
been ever
steps,
since
the
then.
more ingredients,
Exactly.
the easier it is to mess up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
you also like learn along the way what keeps throughout the week better. Like I know that you learned that you don't really typically like Brussels sprouts all week or something.
Yes, yeah.
They just
And if that's the case, then only prep for a few days. Brussels
exactly.
sprouts, you know,
They're
and
good
the
for you.
remainder.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So do like your first 2-3 days.
You just gave me an awesome idea for another bullet point that I did not include in this presentation. Take notes.
Yes.
Take notes. Yes, it's boring, oh my gosh, but here's the thing. If you write something down, if you write a thought down, you don't have to remember it anymore. You've stored it somewhere else. Think about it like this, if you're a tech person at all, or if you're into computers, so you've got your hard drive space, you've only got a certain amount of room. Your brain does kind of function in that same way. You do have a generally finite amount of space to play with, and if you fill it, well, it's going to get rid of something that you don't necessarily use very frequently. It'll still leave an imprint in there, and you can, recall it if the right triggers appear. But how many times have you ever been like, wow, what was that idea I was thinking of the other day? It was so awesome.
And you like know all the feelings around it.
Yes,
You know how you felt,
like,
you don't know what it is.
And the
That's
actual
just so
idea's
crazy.
gone.
That's
You should
so
just
crazy.
designate a journal or a notebook to meal prep.
Yeah.
And just pull it out every Sunday or whenever you prep. Write some
But
notes down.
also, so during school, the best way I learned to study was to write stuff down.
Yeah.
So even if you're writing it down, you might actually remember it because you're
Because you
using
just
both
wrote
your
it
brain, your
Yes.
eyes, and your like all these things together. So
Yeah, no, that's another,
Works
that is
so
in
well.
psychology, that is a very real thing.
It really is.
Writing something down does help you retain it better. You've got, obviously, the visual, the muscle memory, the auditory.
Sometimes I used to say it for
Yeah.
things that like all of them.
Say it
all
over
the
and over and
senses,
over.
yeah.
Yeah.
For things that I couldn't remember, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like keeping a simple notebook, think of it almost like your strategy guide that you're writing as you go along. Be like, hey, so I cooked Brussels sprouts, and by like day 4, they just weren't very appetizing anymore. Note to self, don't prep a full week of Brussels sprouts. There you
Or
go.
if you have a difficult time remembering servings, write that down too. Because I remember at first when I made the rice, we
that's
would
a good
always
point.
make too much rice and I would never write it down and I would
actually.
never remember.
Yeah.
So eventually I kind of just like focused.
Like
and
how
I,
much dry rice did I use?
Exactly. So I was like, all right,
Came
how
out
much?
good.
Yeah, and then it came out good.
That's good.
So, yeah.
So I think that pretty much wraps us up on like the basics of meal prepping, things you should be looking at if you're getting ready to start, or things that you should consider if you're a grizzled veteran that you may not necessarily have thought of before. We'd love to open up the floor now, hear your guys' thoughts, questions on meal prep. If you've got some strategies that you think work really well for you that you'd love to share with people, please feel free to hit us with those now. Otherwise, we're going to be wrapping up the show in just a couple minutes here. So I'm going to start with some of our usual end of the show shameless plugs. First one actually today is not a shameless plug. So April 20th, Saturday, I believe we've got 13 more days, something like that. I will be joining my new GM at my new gym in shaving my head for a great cause. So it's the One Heart, One Mission Foundation, and it's the Operation Buzz Off. So this is where, if you're local, they've definitely been doing this recently. Jim Browdy from NPR actually just had his head shaved.
Cool. That's awesome.
I think they were at Fenway. I can't specifically remember where they were all getting them, but a bunch of celebrities came out. They got their heads shaved, and it's all for a great cause. It's to help kids who are battling with cancer and have lost their hair, through the treatment process. So, it's showing them support, but it's also showing them that bald people can be freaking cool. Like, really cool. Just because you don't have hair does not mean you are any less of a human being, a person. It doesn't mean you can't be cool.
Yes.
So what I'm going to be doing, I've got a link up on our website, so www.mybetteruniversity.com. There's another link directly at the top that will take you to the donation page. If you can donate to the cause, that would be awesome. I would appreciate it. I know the kids would appreciate it. It helps us get out there. It helps us do some good. And, it helps us feel good as well.
Yep.
For those of you that are also, interested in it, it is tax write-offable because you are making a charitable donation. So on the 20th, I will be live streaming this entire event at All Access Fitness. You guys can check out the new gym, see all that, but you can also get to kind of meet some of the players that are working, working in the area. We're going to interview as many people as we can, and you're going to get to watch them shave my head. As a special treat, a client of mine ponied up quite a hefty donation, and as a challenge to receiving that donation, I am also going to be clean shaving on that same day. So I will be a cue ball and a baby face.
Cue ball. That's great.
So if nothing else, it's going to be worth a few yucks, a bunch of laughs. It'll help us all feel a little bit better at the end of the day, and just kind of bring us back to feeling humble about those who are less fortunate than us. So if you can't donate, I'd still love for you guys to join us on the 20th. Again, that will be a Saturday, so it'll be right before we do our show that week here. And, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's great.
I think that's all I got for plugs today. Other than the usual, check out our course log on the website. Check out anything else that you like. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching today. Obviously, without you, we wouldn't have a show to do because we'd just be three people sitting in a kitchen
Talking to technology.
talking to the cameras.
It's right behind it. I know.
Mr. Amos 2005, hello to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful Sunday. Just going to scroll back real quick, see if we got any questions. All right. Looks like we don't have many questions today. No problem. Nothing wrong with that. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thanks again so much for tuning in. Do you guys have anything?
No. Happy Sunday.
Yeah.
Happy Sunday, everybody.
Sunday fun day.
Have a wonderful
Bye, guys.
day. And take care.